It's not unusual for construction drawings to have hundreds of labels on each sheet. The more labels you have, the harder it is to find room to put them. Fortunately, all Civil 3D labels are easily sized, repositioned, or edited to meet the needs of any plan sheet. In this lesson, we'll look at a few ways to edit alignment labels. On my screen is a drawing that contains several labeled alignments. Let's make a few changes. I'm going to zoom in on the southwest corner, and first we'll look at size. It bears repeating that alignment labels, just like all Civil 3D labels, are dynamically linked to plot scale. If I select a new annotation scale, for instance, I'll choose 1 inch equals 60 feet, it will affect all of the alignment annotations. Let's put this back. I will then zoom in closer on the alignment. Let's look at deleting individual labels. In this case, I have redundant labels at the start of the alignment. I'd like to delete the geometry point label. Earlier we saw if I selected one of these, it selects all of the other geometry point labels along the alignment. I'm going to press Escape, and I'll select it again. This time I'm going to select it a different way. If I hold my Control key and then select the label, it selects only that label. If I then press Delete, I can remove only that label from the drawing. I'm going to zoom out. I'll pan down the street, and we'll talk about encroachments. Here I have two labels that intersect. One way to fix an encroachment is to select the label, click the grip, and pull the label out into a leader. I'll press Escape to deselect. I'm not limited to just geometry point labels. I'm going to choose the major station label. I'll grab the grip, and I'll pull this out into a leader. This is just like what we saw with point labels. Virtually every Civil 3D label can be dragged into a leader. To put these back, I'll select the leader. I'll click the round grip to reset the label location. I will then do the same thing for the major station label. Another way to correct an encroachment is to select the label, and from the Contextual Ribbon tab, choose Flip Label. This will flip it to the other side. I'm going to flip it back. I'll press Escape. I'll select the major station label, and I'll choose Flip. We can see how it affects that label. I'll press Escape. I'm going to pan back down to the south, and I'll select this bearing distance label. From here, I'll come up and choose Flip. Note the dimensions switch sides. As you can see, the bearing is reading northwest. What if I wanted this to be southeast? I can do that by choosing Reverse Label. If after making changes to the label you'd like to put it back, you can come up and choose Reset Label. Once again, I'll press Escape to deselect. I'm going to zoom out, and then I will focus our attention on the end of the Elm Street alignment. Knowing what we know now, I can fix this encroachment by selecting the geometry point label, and I'll flip it to the other side. Take a look at this major station label at the end of the alignment. Just like all of the other station labels, it's reading to the even foot. If we look right here, we can see the stationing ends at 12 plus 35.17. I'd like to update this label such that it reads to 2 decimal spaces. To do that, I'll select the label. Note it's selecting all the others. I'll come up and choose Edit Label Text. I am then asked to select a label. Civil 3D is saying, okay, you chose the group. Which specific label do you want to change? I'll choose this one again. Hopefully this dialog box looks familiar. I'm going to select the programming code. I can see that represents the station value. I'm going to come down to precision, and I'll change this to 2 decimal spaces. And then I'll come over and click the arrow to overwrite the original value, and then I'll click OK. I'll press Escape when finished. Let's take this concept a little farther. I'll select the label, I'll click the grip and pull it out into a leader. I will then come up and choose Edit Label Text. I'll select the label again. And since this is a text editor, I'm going to click in front of that station label and I'll press Enter. I will then press the up arrow key to get back to the previous line, and I'll type Alignment End, and I'll click OK. So I can add text to any label as well. I'm going to press Escape. The best part is, if the alignment geometry changes, all of these labels will update. I'm going to come up and click Undo to put things back the way they were. If you have some time, work your way around this drawing and see how many other improvements you can make to these labels. At this point, I'm sure you'll agree that Civil 3D alignment labels are hard to beat. First of all, they will automatically update if the alignment data changes. They will automatically size themselves to match the plot scale. We can place large groups of labels in the drawing at one time, and each of those labels can be individually positioned to meet the needs of any plan sheet.